Welcome students. Let's talk about today an important chapter of Civics class 10 political parties. In this chapter we shall study about the political parties, its definition, its features, its functions in context of the Indian politics. What is a political party? We all know that political party is defined as an organized group of people with at least roughly similar political aims and opinion that seeks to influence public policy by getting its candidates elected to public office. So political party is a group of person who seeks to acquire political power in order to run the administration of the country. And you just see in the right side you will see there are three components of political parties. Three components are always there in every political parties, that is the leaders, the followers, as well as the active members. So there are three components of political party: leaders, followers, and the active members. See political party again. See in the right side, political party has three component: leader, who formulate policies and programs; active members, who are involved in different committees of the party and participate directly in their activity. They also get ticket to contest election. And the followers are those who believe in party's ideology and support the party by casting their votes in favor of that party. So followers are playing a very important role in the winning of any political party. Then what are the functions of political parties? See in the left side, political parties, we all know, contest election, it put forward different policies and programs, it makes law for a country after forming the government, it forms and run the government. Without a political party we cannot expect the formation of a stable government. Political party also serve the function of opposition, who check the activity of the government and prevent them from acting arbitrarily. Then political party shapes public opinion and it provides people access to government machinery and welfare schemes. So there is a great need of political parties. See below, necessity of political parties. We can understand the necessity of political parties by imagining a situation without parties. Elected representative will be responsible for their own constituencies, not for the whole country. It is the political party who is responsible for the whole country. In every country of the world, society are becoming very complex and there is a need of some agency who mobilize, who gather different views on various issues and present them to the government, and that can be made possible only by a political party, not by any particular candidate. Political party is a mechanism which is required to support or restrain the government make policies. So the existence of political party is very essential, particularly in a democratic country. Party system. The existence of political party in a country's party system. There are some countries where there is one party system which allows to control and run the government. There is existence of one major political parties. We can give the example of China, North Korea, Syria, okay, Cuba. These are some of the countries where there is only one party, and one party system is not democratic because here the people are not getting choice at the time of election. Okay, so one party system is not providing any option to the people, so it cannot be a part of a democratic system. Then just below it, see two party system. That system where you find the existence of two major political parties. There may be the existence of several political parties, but two parties are dominant in a country. If two parties are dominant, that is two party system. Example, England and America, we find the two party system. Then again to the right side you see multi party system. Several political parties compete for power and have reasonable chance of winning. We call it a multi-party system. Several political parties contest election and every political parties have a chance of winning. So some advantages are there of multi-party system that provide broader representation of the people and more responsive to the will of the people. But disadvantages are also there, that because of the multiplicity of the political parties, one party often gets fails to get the majority of seat in the parliament and fails to form the stable government, we generally find the formation of coalition government in multi-party system, and which cause instability in government. Now let's talk about the national political party, National Party and State Party of India. It is the election commission who recognized the political party, and it fixed the criteria after fulfilling a party can become national or state party. Let's first of all see national party. A registered party is taken in as a national party when it fulfills the following condition. What are the conditions? If the party wins 2% of Lok Sabha seat from at least 3 different states in India, if the party is recognized as a state party in 4 or more states in India, and if the party polls 6% of vote in 4 states in addition to 4 seats in the Lok Sabha at the general election, that party can be called as a national party. And state party which fulfills the following condition, that secure at least 6% of the total vote in an election to the legislative assembly of a state and win at least 2 seats of the legislative assembly, then that party will be registered as a state party. See, on the right side you will find the different symbols of national parties and that of the regional parties of India. So regional party and national party, very often a question comes, a difference between regional party and national party. So regional party refers to a political party which has its base in a particular region. National party has its base over the entire nation. Then regional party can change their symbol, okay, but in a national party it has a permanent symbol that cannot be repeated. The symbol of regional party can be repeated, but that of national party cannot be repeated. Regional party has its influence in particular region, national party for in the entire country. Okay, so these are some of the fundamental point of differences that between the regional and national party. Regional party is strong enough and in at least 1 or 2 states, and national party is strong enough in at least 4 states. Okay, then let's talk about some of the prominent national party of India one by one. First is the Indian National Congress, founded in 1885, oldest political party of India, played a dominant role in the Indian politics at the national and state level for many decades. Congress party ruled over center till 1977, and then from 1980 to 89, and from 2009 to 2014 in the form of coalition government. It is a centrist party in its ideological orientation, and it advocates secularism and welfare of weaker sections and minority. Currently, it's leading the United Progressive Alliance, which is an alliance of parties formed in 2004 election. During 2004 election, 2 major alliances were formed in our country: UPA, United Progressive Alliance, of which Congress is the main party, and second is the National Democratic Alliance, of which BJP is the main party. Then see, second prominent party, Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, founded in 1980 by reviving the Bharatiya Jana Sangh. Earlier it was known as Bharatiya Jana Sangh, but after its revival in 1980, it renamed as Bharatiya Janata Party. It advocates building of strong and modern India by drawing inspiration from ancient cultures and values. It favors uniform civil code and ban on religious conversion. It is also against Article 370, and recently the BJP-led government has abrogated Article 370 of the Indian Constitution, as a result of which Kashmir became a full-fledged part of our country. BJP first came to power in 1998 as leader of the NDA, and it is instrumental in the formation of an alliance, namely National Democratic Alliance. And currently BJP is leading the central government since 2014 till date under the leadership of Sri Narendra Modi. The symbol is lotus, and thus in the right side you see BJP's Lok Sabha performance. For the first time, BJP contested election in 1984 and win only 2 seats. And in every Lok Sabha election, it increases the seats, it improves her performance, and finally succeeded in forming the central government. Second is the Bahujan Samaj. Third is the Bahujan Samaj Party, formed in 1984 under the leadership of Kashi Ram. See the picture below of Kashi Ram, just below Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And Bahujan Samaj Party represents power and representation for the Dalits, Adivasis, other backward caste and religious minorities. It stands for the cause of securing the interest and welfare of the Dalits, The main base of Bahujan Samaj Party is in Uttar Pradesh, neighboring states like Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, Delhi, Punjab. Formed government in Uttar Pradesh several times. Bahujan Samaj Party formed government in Uttar Pradesh several times by taking support of different parties. Currently, Bahujan Samaj Party is headed by Sushri Mayawati. Its political symbol is elephant. Then the two left parties of India, Communist Party of India, Marxist, founded in 1964 after being split from the Communist Party of India, believes in Marxism, Leninism, supports secularism and democracy. It also accepts democratic election. Its main base is in West Bengal, Kerala and Tripura. Right now, it is this party. We do not find the government of this party in any of the states of India, neither in West Bengal, nor in Kerala, nor in Tripura. In these three states, this party is acting as the main opposition party. Then Communist Party of India, Marxist, opposes the free flow of foreign goods and capital into the country and has been in power at one time in West Bengal without a break for 30 years. Communist Party of India. But now in West Bengal, Trinamool Congress is ruling and CPIM is acting in the form of opposition. Then second, Communist Party of India, CPI, formed in 1925, second oldest political party of India after Congress. It also believes in Marxism, Leninism, secularism and democracy and opposes the forces of secessionism and communalism. It did not want the disintegration of the country. It opposes disintegrative forces. It accepts parliamentary democracy as a means of promoting the interest of working class, farmers and poor. The Communist Party of India at one time was a very strong party, but in 1964, after the split in the party, it became weak. And this party has its base in Kerala, West Bengal, Punjab, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, and currently it is leading the state government of Kerala, CPI. These are the symbols of CPIM above: sickles and hammer and star, and sickle and ear of corns of that Communist Party of India. Then another prominent party, national party, is Nationalist Congress Party, formed in 1999 following a split in the Congress Party. It advocates democracy, Gandhian secularism, equity, social justice and federalism. NCP wants high offices to be confined to natural born citizens of the country. It has a strong base in Maharashtra and in Meghalaya, Manipur and Assam. It is a member of United Progressive Alliance since 2004 and always support Congress, helps Congress in forming the government at center and in different states. See the picture of Sharad Pawar. He was a person who was the main mastermind, who was instrumental in the formation of this party in 1999. Then what are the challenges facing by the political parties of India? Four major challenges: lack of internal democracy. In every political party, we find a concentration of power in one or few leaders. A party don't maintain membership register, no internal meeting take place, no internal election take place, okay, and no insufficient information for ordinary members. Ordinary members do not have much power in the national party. Then second challenge is dynastic succession. Leaders have unfair advantage to favor people close to them. Nepotism is going on in every political parties. After the death of leader, generally his son or his close relative becomes the leader of the party. The top positions are always controlled by family members. So thus hereditary system is there in the political party, which is not good for our democracy. Then money and muscle powers. Political parties focus on election, use shortcut method to win the election. Moneyed candidates come to power. Those candidates who are having a lot of money, who are rich and wealthy, aristocratic, they generally get the ticket from the party, and the rich tend to influence the government. Criminals are supported very often in order to win election. Then offering of meaningful choice. We find the declination in the ideological differences of the political parties. Okay, they are not offering any meaningful choice to the voters because of the absence of ideological differences. nobody is talking anything new issue. All are talking about the same problems and policies. So ideologically, we do not find any differences between the political parties. All are the different faces of the same coins, of a same coin. So how can a political party be reformed? First is the anti-defection law was passed in 1985, in which prevent a person after being elected from changing the party. Okay, now you cannot defect from one party to another after being elected. So defection problem is removed by this anti-defection law. Then Supreme Court has made it mandatory for every candidate, see last line, who contest election to file an affidavit. Now every candidate has to file an affidavit giving detail of his property and criminal cases pending against him. The Election Commission of India has also passed an order making it necessary for political parties to hold their organizational election regularly. It's other thing that the political parties are not following the order of Election Commission in this regard. And also Election Commission ordered every political parties to file income tax return so that the government could get to know about the exact property of the political parties. So these are the three steps taken by the Parliament, by the Supreme Court and by the Election Commission in the field of the reformation of political parties. Some suggestions are also given to reform political parties, that a law should be made to regulate the internal affairs of political parties. Then a party should maintain register of its member, follow its own constitution. Every party should have an independent authority to act as a judge in case of party disputes. Then every political party should make it mandatory to give minimum number of tickets, about 1/3 to women candidates. Generally in every political party we find the minimum participation of women, and female members, they are not getting ticket also. So women should also be allowed to contest election and to become the member of parliament and state legislative assembly. State funding of election should be there. Number 4, state funding of election. The government should provide fund to every political parties to meet their electoral expenses so that they would not dependent upon the corporate sector or the rich people for finance. Generally what happened, the political parties is funded by the corporate sectors or by the rich people, and after winning the election that political party forms the government, and that government become a puppet in the hand of its financer. Okay, this should not be there. Then we should make pressure on political parties. Public should make pressure on political parties through petitions, publicity and agitations. People should join the political parties to reform it, because the quality of democracy depends on the degree of political participation. The honest and ideal citizens should participate. Educated persons, honest person, patriotic person should join the political parties to reform it. So these are some of the suggestions to reform political parties of India. This is the last topic of the chapter. So I hope this chapter is clear. The basic concept of the chapter is clear. Okay, thank you.